Hello, and welcome to Spirit Island Sundays, where we play Spirit Island on Sunday. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitch or Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow me personally at Logic Dolphin on Twitch, Discord, YouTube, or pretty much any avenue. Sentinels of the Multiverse, Sentinels of Earth Prime, Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, and Spirit Island are all available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices. One Deck Dungeon is also available on Switch, and One Deck Galaxy is in active development. You can find more information on those games at handelabra.com. So, it is all by my lonesome again. Famous is out. So, I will be playing by myself. Now, I normally hit quick play, but since Horizons was just released this past Thursday, I'm gonna go set up a game. I did 3 spirits on my own Dolphins dive with 3 Horizon spirits. This time I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna do the 2 that we didn't get last time. Stone and Sand and Sunbright Whirlwind. Yeah, so we did Fathomless Mud, Eyes Watch, and Devouring Teeth. I love these sounds so much. Yeah, we're gonna play with those. Looks like we have France, so I guess we'll go France 4. Used to have to click that in order to get there, but you can also just click there now to do whatever. Let's see, scenario. We did Powers Long Forgotten on Thursday. Let's do Dawn Insurrection. It's been a while since I've done that one. The scenario is notably easier for spirits with versatile Dahan movement or for spirits good at moving or destroying buildings. The scenario is notably harder when playing versus adversaries that build lots of buildings, such as the Kingdom of England. The rule changes. After an action moves 1 or more Dahan, each Dahan that moved does 1 damage in their land. But, after an action destroys 1 or more buildings, and add an explorer per town destroyed and a town per city destroyed. These new invaders are added to the land with Dahan closest to the destroyed building. Yeah, so this could happen that they get added to the land that they're not in if the land is empty of Dahan. I was gonna wonder what happens if there are no lands with Dahan, but there's a loss condition. We lose if there are fewer than 2 Dahan per player left alive. So 2 spirits, we lose if there are fewer than 4 Dahan in the game. So that kind of bypasses the whole military response issue. So normal fear-based victory is not available. Instead, at tier level 1, there's no victory. Tier level 2, there are no lands where buildings outnumber Dahan. Tier level 3+, there is fewer than 1 land per player where buildings outnumber Dahan. So 2 spirits, fewer than 2 lands per player, so basically just 1 land. It's kind of weird because with 1 spirit, it's actually like these 2 are the exact same. But with 2 spirits, we have a little bit of leeway. If there's only 1 land where buildings outnumber Dahan, then we win. And if we reach tier level victory, Dahan immediately damage invaders in every land on the board as if they were fighting back after a ravage. If this doesn't fulfill the victory condition on this card, you lose. So, yeah. So we do get to damage things by pushing Dahan, or just moving Dahan. But the military is a bit more prepared and will replace the destroyed buildings with lower tier structures. We are playing France 4, so we are limited to 7 towns per player, so 14. We lose if they cannot place a town, so hitting the cap doesn't immediately cause loss. After exploring, stage 2 escalation. After exploring on each board, pick a land of the shown terrain. If it has buildings, add a blight, otherwise add a town. Except during setup, after invaders successfully explore into a land which had no buildings, add an explorer there. During setup, we add Slave Rebellion. After invaders build in a land with 2 explorers or more, replace all but 1 explorer there with an equal number of towns. During setup on each board, add a town to the highest numbered land without towns, and add a town to land number 1. And whenever invaders build a coastal city, add a town to the adjacent land with the fewest towns. And the fear card distribution is 444. So we do have some Dahan pushing. We can actually damage with Sunbright Whirlwind Presence now. Push up to an Explorer town from the, or Explorer Dahan from the land after you add presence during growth. And pushing a Dahan will deal damage. Cool. But no Dahan pushing with the innate powers. We do have Dahan pushing with Scatter to the Winds. But we have a power that grants +1 range to target spirit. A power that grants a push or gather power fast for the turn. A power that deals 1 damage to each of 5 different invaders. Cool. We're comboing this, as we've kind of done routinely, with Rising Heat of Stone and Sand. Special rule, at your sacred site, invaders have -1 health. So they could be more easily killed by Dahan pushing, as it were. So the innate power deals damage, primarily to explorers, but higher level does more. Target spirit can gain energy or pay energy to deal damage. We can skip a Ravage build action. We can gather 2 Dahan, and for each Dahan present, push up to 1 Explorer Town Dahan. That's interesting. I think, does it? I think actually, with this is after each action, right? Yeah, so after an action moves 1 or more Dahan. So the rule of gather 3, push 3, with the 1 powered, I forget what it's called, means that it's where the Dahan finish at. So I can't like gather 2 Dahan, deal 2 damage in the land, then push the 2 Dahan out and deal 2 damage in the new land. It's where it finalizes up. And then Stinging Sandstorm for some quick damage, but also gathers presence. So Stone and Sand presence is versatile. Cool. Difficulty 12. Let's see how this goes. Non-insurrection, I believe, is difficulty 3, which is why it seems a lot higher. I don't really think it's that harder. I guess, like, the victory conditions are a bit tighter than they are for the standard game. Because, like, instead of just destroying all the cities and winning a game, we have to actually manage... Actually, I guess if we destroy all the buildings, we win, right? This is only counting buildings, yeah. So I guess it's... Terra level 2 is definitely... Actually, I guess it is equivalent, isn't it? Terra level 2, there are no lands where buildings outnumber Dahan. I guess that's technically easier because normally we'd have to have no buildings, but here, just no lands. Like, we could just make 1,000,000 Dahan and win. And same with Terra level 3. Although, if there were no cities on the board, but towns everywhere, we would still not be in a win condition, so it's not strictly easier or harder, technically speaking. Alright, jungles. So they're not successfully adding a town here, right? Because that's the rule. Or sorry, coastal city. Whenever invaders build a coastal city, yeah, so I have this thinking whenever they build, but no. That's the only coastal land and it's not building. It is a city in G7, as it currently stands. And then D6 and G6, which can very easily be stopped with Whirlwind Presence. We could also place a presence and push Dahan to kill the guy, which is kind of interesting. Your innate generally only pushes explorers until you get to higher tiers, but we're not going to get to that on this turn. But we can scatter if we want to deal with G6. G7 is harder. It is also jungle, so Mountain Sand's presence is not as good. We could try to opt to skip the build so that this land's a bit easier to defend. We could skip the Ravage, but then there's a city in there. We could also not worry about it, but then there's Dahan in there that die, and we do care about Dahan in this game. This does target any spirit, so I could target myself to do scatter fast if I wanted to, like, get G7 cleared out. And we could also use this to push Dahan, but they have to go to as many different lands as possible, so this would go into the 4 adjacent lands, and only one Dahan in G8 doesn't kill G8. And that is very far away. Range 3 is not close enough. I'm thinking of gaining the power here because it gives +2 energy, which is good when you're only at +1 energy right now. Double Presence isn't really going to do too much. You want to get 2 card plays probably. Generally getting from 1 to 2 is a big jump for most spirits. 2 to 3, probably less so. But the second Presence is not going to give more card plays, and it will give an Earth, but that's not going to do much this turn. So I'm inclined to do that. And let's take a look and see what we get. We're interested in Fire, Air, Earth. This has Fire, Air, gives Strife. Strife is good for France. Very good for France. None of the others give Fire. There's no Earth anywhere. Testing Splendor gathers things, which is pretty cool. Also it gathers Dahan, which can deal damage. But it is range 0, so you have to go into a land and do things, but if you had a Sacred Site, the 2... Well, actually not even a Sacred Site. Well, yeah, Sacred Site, 2 Dahan would kill a city. But I can't put Sacred Sites in the city lands this turn, so I'm going to take Fire in the Sky because that will help with Slave Rebellion down the road. So let's double check Slave Rebellion because it says invaders with Strife take 1 damage per Dahan present. Add a Dahan per building this destroys. But after an action destroys 1 or more buildings, add an Explorer per town destroyed and town per city destroyed. So it's not really like it's downgrading. Like, technically speaking, the downgrade word says downgrade a town or whatever. It's a slightly new word to clean up language, but this isn't saying replace it. Which means, first off, we do get the Dahan from killing the town, but second off, this new explorer, or town, isn't going to have the strife that the destroyed building had. So, you do have to be mindful of that, like, say I strife the town in D1, thinking, alright, so, like, oh, they're gonna ravage in D1, but I'm gonna strife the town and the Dahan kill the town. Well, now they add an explorer in that land, and if there was other things in there, that would still blight. So things aren't necessarily solved with Slave Rebellion as much as they would normally be. Alright, this is my only presence here, so what do I want for range? I could gather a presence into a neighboring land and use that to deal enough damage to kill the town, so like D6. And they will add an explorer to the nearest land with Dahan, which is either D7, D5, or G3. So that's a way of solving D6 then. It doesn't solve D2. But I don't think I have a means of solving D2. I could try to get a Sacred Site and strife the city next turn. Either put Sacred Site in D5 or D4. But yeah, also this is range 1 presence, so I can't really go too far, but yeah. So, I want to be able to gather my presence. And if I do a Fire Air, I can do damage to explorers. And it's from range 1 Sacred Site, right? But this Sacred Site is going to move over here. So it's either going to be in D8, D1, D5, or in D4 or G3. So one of those is going to be explored, so I can certainly do damage to an explorer somewhere nearby. In any case, it has to be Fire Air. So I could give energy to Whirlwind. I could skip the build, but we don't need to do that. We could like stop it in D2 to preserve the disease, but that seems like a waste. That doesn't give me Fire Air. And we're thinking of doing this next turn, so it's gonna be Gift of Searing Heat. Alright, so now what about Sunbright Whirlwind? Your cards cost energy, fun fact. So probably want to gain energy on turn 1 to have a pool. 4 energy is enough to play these cards, and then +1 energy pays for whatever power card we gain. Presumably, if it's a minor power, of course. So we could just go up card plays track then. Gain presence, 4 energy this turn, power card, add presence next turn. So 2 card plays this turn, 3 card plays next turn, I play my hand, and next turn I reclaim. If I can maximize the benefit of that, of course. Yeah, so we're not stopping the G7 build. We could still scatter fast to stop that. And it will give me violent ruin storms first and 8. So it's reasonable. Placing a presence in G6 to push the Explorer stops that build. So only D2 next turn and it's not ravaging. Cool. Or rather, we're strafing the city, so that seems pretty nifty. Where do I want you to go? I'm just gonna throw you in G2. I would throw you in G1, but if I push Dahan into G2, I could use it to kill the Explorer later or something. Scatter, and I want that fast. Go now fast. Yeah, we did target stone and sand, so we're not getting the plus energy off that, but we can stop this city. Guess throw you there. Let's try to grip the Dahan together and let's not push into the land with Blight, I would say. And yeah, like, I'm dealing damage, but it was only ever going to be 1 damage, and I'm not doing enough to stop a thing. We could do 1 damage, it's not going to do a dang thing. I'll gain more energy. Exploring the mountains. So now G8 looks pretty cute. Also, my gather, push, explorer doesn't actually do anything. I guess actually because this is France, the extra explorer they put means it's never really going to do much. So 2 damage to explorers only. That's actually pretty good then, because I can just do that. This counters France. This doesn't counter France. Also, I should point out, if you haven't read the stream title, there is a Steam key for Horizons up for grabs today. I will reveal the game that we'll play later on. So if you are interested in getting that Steam key, stay tuned. So let's gather this and destroy the town. Except they add an explorer. Oh no. Just throw it in my land. That seems fine. Push an explorer doesn't stop anything. We're going to be doing a sacred site over in D5 or D4 to strife D2. And stop a build at range 2 from a sacred site. I guess it's going to be D8. I guess G8 we're just not going to worry about. Just stuff in there. They're going to add a city. It's a lot. G1 is a coastal city, and I really want that to not happen, but how do we make that not happen? I guess if I give +1 range to stone and sand, we stop the build in G1. We're at range, it's range 3, but +1 from 2. And so we stop the G1 build, which stops the coastal city, which stops a town in either G2 or G6. Okay, that works. Still will be a town in there. We can potentially push it if we get an air card, because we're going to gain a power card next turn. If we get the air, then we can push the town out. If we get the air. This is range 1. We're also gonna place a presence at range 4. But we're not really gonna be doing that much to Actually, I guess I don't need a Sacred Site D5 or D4 because I'm gonna give plus range. So range 2 hits D2 already. But if I were to get another Dahan in D2, then at least the city dies. We could also leave the city. Oh, but after the Ravage, they don't have that strife anymore. Okay. I was gonna say we could try to preserve the strife for the Slave Rebellion, but since they're ravaging that right now, it's not gonna actually stop it. And so we're playing these 2 cards. Yeah, we could get to 3 card plays. We can't afford all 3 of my cards though. So it's at least Earth. Maybe more energy. Because if I want to, like, maximize the utility of my presences, if I'm not playing 3 cards next turn, I could get to +1 energy. But if I want to get to 3 card plays faster, I'd obviously could just get that, but then I don't have 3 card plays on the subsequent turn anyway. Conundrums. Anyway, back to the discussion of where am I pushing and explore. If I am, I don't really see. There's no Dahan in G6 or G7, so pushing the Explorer to die in a Ravage doesn't work. There aren't duplicate Explorers there, so I'm not worried about extra towns. I could push this guy out just to be safe from the Ravage next turn, but... or not next turn, but the next turn. I don't know. I don't really want to group explorers together, but let's put it in G2. It's a 50% chance to explore wetlands, though. Let's see what this card is. We want it to be air if possible. We do have an air. This pushes Dahan. Also deals damage based on Dahan. But pushing Dahan is cool because that does Dahan insurrection things. So I guess I take it. I'm playing it. Presence in D5 to push the Dahan into G2 to kill the city in the Ravage. We could also Veil to do that if we wanted. Veil into D8 though. I think we're sort of going to stop the D8 build. Hello, Trail. I think we said we were going to stop G1 now, so D8 is happening. But if I were to push 2 Dahan into D8, I kill the town. They don't build a city. They do put different explorer in there, and that explorer then gets replaced with a town because of France, so it's not really any better. I'm also playing Tempest this turn. I don't have range though to like anything meaningful. I could like put Sacred Site here. weird though. Like, I could kill a town in G8 if I were to put a presence here, push the Dawn in the G8, deals 1 damage to a town, and then Tempest, I deal 1 damage to a town, replaces it with an Explorer. It doesn't actually do a goddamn thing because France turns it back into a town. So all that effort to kill a town only for France to be like, well, there's 2 Explorers in here. I'm going to replace it with a town. Because they're going to turn the town into an Explorer, and then France turns the Explorer back into a town. Speaking of which, D2, if I kill the city, it's going to turn into a town. So what I could do is push D5 into D2, damage the city. Push D1 into D2 with Veil, damage the city, kill the city. City turns into a town. Strife the town. Into Ravage, Explorer dies, town dies. Town turns into Explorer. There'll be an Explorer left in D2. And that gets rid of the coastal city entirely. Yeah, as it turns out, cities are actually quite difficult to get rid of in this game because they downgrade twice before you can finally kill them. So I guess I do that. They're going to build the city in D8 and G8. I could instead let D2 ravage and push the Dahan out instead, but then I'm kind of wasting Veil in a different way. Sacred Site. D5 or D4? I guess no, we don't need that because we already have range because we're going to have +1 range. I could Sacred Site in a land. Actually, if I had Sacred Site at a G8 and set up the thing anyway, we could have done Tempest to kill both towns, but... And actually, there's no Dahan in there, so they wouldn't actually add the Explorers in G8, they would add it in G5. Huh. Is that better? Problem is the city in D2 doesn't die in the Ravage. I guess I could put Sacred Site in G1. Wait, do I have range 3? Yeah, range 3. Sacred Site there. Tempest the town, kills the town, replaces it with an Explorer, so they would still build. But it wouldn't be a coastal city. I wouldn't have to block the build with Sweltering Exhaustion, so I could block the D8 build or the G8 build. So if I block D8 then I can push the Dahan in the D8, kill the town, replace it with an Explorer. But then they're not building, so it's not going to get replaced. And it's only 2 Explorers that could be pushed away with this. I will have the elements, yep. As long as I play the air card. I'm still playing Sweltering Exhaustion. Well, yeah, but I was already doing... Okay. So that works. I think I want energy. Huh? Everything is fast. I was blocking this one. Kill the thing. Places with Explorer, Veil, push there. Kill the town, replaces with Explorer. Alright. On an inland land on each board, replace an Explorer with a town. Invaders do not ravage and land with tokens. Well, that's interesting. Each player may push and explore a town from a land with Dahan. So they're not ravaging D2, and so that strife is actually preserved. That is very interesting. We are adding towns, but we're pretty light on towns. It's fine. So we don't want to replace this, or sorry, we don't want to replace this because that's ravaging and with blight. We'd like to not replace this because we are gonna kill the explorers with that. So we're replacing this guy. Was forced over there. Doesn't matter. May push from a land with buildings. So we didn't block this build. We're already killing those guys with Scorch. We could maybe not kill them and instead kill wherever they explore. It's either wetlands or sands. There are targets for both G4 or G3 or D4. Yeah, I'd only have to push one out, right? And then I can push this guy out and they don't build there, and then I save Violent Windstorms for something else. Not really too many good places, although this does stop a build. And that would stop either G3 or G4. Or get rid of all the crap in G2, although that's diseased, so that's okay. Interesting. I guess I'm gonna go with the route of push a lot of explorers into G2. Get rid of one of these guys. Either sands or wetlands. Doesn't really seem to matter which right now. We're skipping this build. Sands. I can stop either one of those. And I can stop probably just this one. G2's diseased. It's a fine place to go. This has Dahan in it. Whirlwind is reclaiming. Doesn't have range to these with the sacred sites. We can't do Tempest to kill the explorers. You're not reclaiming, but you're playing this, which gathers up to 2 Dahan and pushes. For each Dahan present. So like, if I let G3 build, I can gather 2 Dahan, push all the stuff out. On the other hand, if I leave the Dahan in there, it would kill stuff, right? 2 Dahan in there would deal 2 damage, which kills the town. So it doesn't need to be in G3. Let's go D4 then. I mean, not then was not the operative word there. D4 just seems like it's the better spot for some reason. It's empty. Normally empty doesn't matter, but this has a single Dahan, so like I would rather get stuff pushed in there. Okay. So, Slave Rebellion is the 4th card in the event list, so it's not this turn, but next turn. And we want to get more Dahan into D2 before that happens. Invaders of the Strife take 1 damage per Dahan present, add a Dahan per building this destroys. So D2 is currently strifed. More things could be strifed, at least, well, play Fire in the Sky next turn, probably. D7 obviously looks really scary, though. I could just reclaim and play Sweltering Exhaustion in D7. That stops the city and a Explorer conversion. We are reclaiming with Sunbright. We could do the same Scatter to the Winds trick fast. This pushes 5 things. That would be enough to clear that out entirely. So, I mean, we're definitely reclaiming and we're definitely gaining a power card. So let's see what this is. We want air and sun and air to the best of our ability. There are no air cards. This is the only sun card, but it adds Dahan, so it's actually good. Cold Intent pushes 3 Dahan. Rights of the Land's Rejection and stop builds. Can stop G3 if we wanted. This turn also pushes Dahan. You don't have range to D7 with rights this turn, no. Even with +1 range, it's range 3. Cycles of Time and Tide I could use to add a Dahan to D2, and that would then be good for Slave Rebellion. I kind of like that. Don't have to do it this turn. I do think Scatter and push power fast is a good idea. So I could hit this innate this turn to push buildings. There's actually not that many buildings other than G3. I could try to save it for next turn. I would need to play these 3 cards next turn unless I gain a new power card that's really helpful. Also, this gives an air, so that makes it easier. I don't need as many airs then. Although then I could hit this threshold for each invader push to 1 damage. So I could do this. Next turn play those cards. Plus the additional air. I'm probably gaining energy next turn to make up for the expenditures that I need for that. Kind of just going straight up card plays track this game. Relying on this middle growth for energy. It's kind of cool. We'll see if it works. I don't know what the quote-unquote meta is for these spirits, nor do I care for the quote-unquote meta. Because I like to play based on the condition of the game, and not based on what works 80% of the time. It's also why I tend to not follow, like, good Wordle strategies. The best starting word in Wordle is blank. Well, I'm not going to use that word. I want to use my own word. So if I don't reclaim, I'm playing Call on Herders, which gathers 2 Dahan, which is obviously cool. I think the plan was to gather into G3, right? We're going to do this thing. But Slave Rebellion is coming up. So we could, like, gather the 2 Dahan, use it to kill a town, strife the other town that's in G3, that town dies in the Slave Rebellion. Of course, the problem is that there will still be, like, explorers in G3 to deal with. D7 is stopped. Sort of. Because I do have to push the thing into D8. Which is not ideal. I guess I could push a Dahan in there. I choose 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th is a Dahan. If I put a Dahan in the D8, it has the advantage of also killing D8. I could also push 2 Dahan into D1 and kill the town. But that still leaves something in D7. Explorer, town, Dahan. So I'd have 1 explorer left, and that would still build in D7, which I'm trying to prevent. could do town Dahan to D6, and the Dahan damages the 1 health town, and the town dies. That's kind of cool. Okay. But then what am I, like, I'm definitely, like, I'm either reclaiming or I'm gaining a power card, adding presence, but if I reclaim, what am I doing with that? I'm not really doing anything with that. So I'm just gonna do this. Take a look at these. I'm not getting to a fire yet, so I'm not gonna get the 3rd fire that makes scores with waves of heat damage buildings. It's the only fire card. It does destroy a lot of towns, which is mighty interesting. It does add a blight, but against France, that's pretty powerful. So what I could do is push 2 towns into D1 and use drought on D1. They will replace the towns with explorers, but they can go in D2, D8, or D7. Probably not D7 because the Sands Ravage coming up. I buy that. I think that serves a purpose. Place a presence. Range 1. Mountains or sands are already easy to get to, but the problem is the only other lands would be D6, where I already have a sacred site, D1, which I'm gonna blight, so... I'm also in G1, huh? So I could go into G2. Yeah, if I were to... I don't want to go there, but I can't get in there yet. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. No innates for me. Can't do that yet. I guess something is going into D5. I could put something in D8. I don't want to run the risk of +1 damage on Ravage blighting D5. I'm pushing 1 Dahan. Let's push it there. I want to push it there. Can't do that yet. You have to put something in D5. Ugh, this is kind of annoying. I can't do what I wanted. I do this. Something has to go into D5, and then I can put something extra into D1. But the way that I have it with the Dahan right now, it doesn't work. So let's undo this for a sec. Put town into D1. Explore into D6. Dahan into D7. Or sorry, D5. I guess I have to run the risk of D5 blading though. That's happening. What am I I have to push an explorer into either D8 or D5. I have to push this town. Yeah, I have to push the town. So I can only push 1 Dahan. guess I do it there. Okay, don't blight D5. Okay, Weave Lies is not gonna blight D5 if I do that. Aided by air, we have 2 air. Do have energy that we could spend. Don't really want to add towns because France. Buildings do +1 damage. Doesn't do anything. Beast to a jungle without blight. Fear if invaders are present. Doesn't work on G. Does work on D. Add wilds to a land with Dahan. Okay. So I probably want to Weave Lies. I could fund it by discarding all of Sunbright's Sunbright's cards and just reclaiming again. Kind of a waste. We're hoping to get to this air next turn. I could discard 1 card and then next turn take the power card growth instead of gaining energy. Tempest and G2 to kill all those explorers is a pretty good idea before those get converted into towns, but that land is still diseased. It's a 40% chance that that land is relevant with a wetlands or coastal build. I also have to think about Slave Rebellion, of course. The escalation on this might help with Slave Rebellion considerations, though. I don't necessarily need to worry about that. Dawn to G2 would be nice, and Veil could help with that, although I think we were planning on veiling G4 into G3, weren't we? Were we? I don't remember. We're doing Colin Herders into G3, that's right, okay. And then the Slave Rebellion in G3. On this board, we're gonna just see what the escalation does. I think is what we're doing. So I'm gonna Weave Lies. I wanna just click there for a sec, but I hit the wrong thing, I guess. Doesn't really matter. When you reclaim, you gain energy. You're still sitting on 2 card plays, so you could spend all of your energy. I don't want to forget your cards. I could spend 2 energy here and still take the +4 energy growth. And still be able to afford those cards. So I guess that's okay then. Fear if invaders are present. And I'll just spread the beasts out for no real reason. Wilds in a land with Dahan. That one seems nice. Here we have choices. So if they explore sands and they escalate, I could put a town in D7. If there's a wilds there, there won't be 2 explorers. Slave Rebellion strifes the town, almost kills the town, but I could... but I won't have the Sacred Site. Because I'm reclaiming next turn. And you don't place a presence on your reclaim. The town in D8 would be sort of better. But wilding that would be a waste. Because like if I do put the town there, they still build. But I guess, no, there would still not be 2 explorers in there at least. And so that would serve some purpose. Also, I guess I'm not in the land right now. So I guess since I'm already a D7, I'm going to go and put that in D8. Your card says, each player adds strife in a land with Dahan! Amazing. Not actually super amazing over here, though. After they build or replace all but one explorer there with an equal number of towns. So I could strife an explorer here, and when it gets replaced with a town, it's certainly going to get slave rebellion. This is a pretty powerful fear card, huh? And it's not set up well for us right now. So, invaders take damage per Dahan present. So I could strife the Explorer at D2 and then it dies to the Slave Rebellion, just in case I care about that. There's like no other, like... The Explorer here doesn't need to be strifed, right? I mean, I guess I have to worry about like... But I don't want to kill the towns in G3 now, do I? I guess they're going to be replaced with 2 explorers and the Ravage still happens. And I don't have a solution for that. Other than let the Ravage happen, let it blight, and maybe remove the blight with cycles of time inside someday. I mean, that Explorer's going to die to the Dahan push, right? Because I have to gather 2 things in there anyway. I'm gonna strife the Explorer then. Wetlands. Where the game gets fun. A lot of coastal cities there. A lot of coastal cities. I'm still doing this though. And it's pretty good to get rid of that crap, right? I could put it here in hopes of it dying to the Ravage. And then the rest there. And then gather 2 here. I could push one out. It's not really going to do much. I want to leave 2 Dahan in here. I don't want to kill this town. I don't want to kill this town. I could push 1 Dahan and kill the Explorer. Or leave them grouped up so that this only pushes 1 Explorer, right? I guess I could kill 1 Explorer in G4, kill the other, or move the other with Violent Windstorms, and then get rid of G4 some way. Get rid of the town in G4 some other way. But if there's Dahan in there, then the town that dies gets replaced with an Explorer in the same land and they still build. Kinda better to not put Dahan in wetlands right now. Unless there was a slave rebellion consideration. I am gonna get Fire in the Sky. I mean, I'm definitely playing Fire in the Sky next turn in advance of the Slave Rebellion. So I could push Dahan in the G4. With my growth, get a Dahan in the G4 by placing the presence in G5. Push the Dahan in G4 that way. Strife the town. They would still replace it, but it wouldn't at least be like... I don't know. There'd be more Dahan in there and they wouldn't put a city in there. It doesn't solve D3 at all, though. We do have Gift of Sunlit Air. I don't I'm not sure what that's gonna do. I guess sweltering exhaustion into D3 to stop that city plus 2 towns. Plus a 3rd town in a land with fewest towns. That's actually pretty good though. Okay. So here, sure, kill the explorer. Here, kill the explorer. Push the other explorer. I can push this explorer, and they don't build there. I find that reasonable. Okay, reclaim is here. Don't have a lot of energy. We spent it all. Fire, air, fire, earth. Sacred Site, 2 damage. Call to migrate, damage. Push Dahan, damage. Those are fire cards. Those are definitely fire cards. Ooh. I don't have the Sacred Site in G2. Also, I'm not playing these cards, right? The cards I'm playing, were decided. Was it? Yeah, I'm doing Sweltering Exhaustion plus Fire in the Sky, so this is not being played this turn. This is what's happening. I could use this to try to kill the city in G2. But it's kind of too late. How many Earth cards do I have? Half my cards are Earth, so I'm not too worried about the Earth thresholds that much. We do have the innate Earth, the only Earth that is there. So you only really need 2 Earth at most. And 2 air at most as well. Call to Migrate seems really good though. Slave Rebellion. Click that for Slave Rebellion considerations. You're gaining the energy to support your card plays. You're putting the Dahan into G4. Kill the Explorer. Play your hand. Now you do have this, so you could push 3 things. And for each invader pushed, 1 damage in the land, so it could deal 3 damage in a land if we set this up. Okay. See if that works. I also have Veil. So I guess I didn't need to grow into G5. Tempest is happening here, right? I guess actually, ooh, we could strife the city. Instead of the town. Wait, what are we strafing? We're strafing G4. That's what we're strafing. We want G3 and G4 strifed. Ooh. There's another solution to D3. I could Veil to push G4 into D3. Oh, but then I don't Slave Rebellion G4. But it's interesting because if I push those Dahan into D3, I kill the town with it, replaces with an Explorer, but then I could do that. But I don't have Sacred Site range, so that doesn't actually work. Unless I do this to myself, which would make that work. And Stone and Sand doesn't need the range this turn. We would just lose out on an energy on them. Otherwise, Tempest in the G2 is like... It kills 5 Explorers, since we group them all over there. That land is still diseased, but Coastal is a 25% chance of popping up now. I could also, like, I mean, yeah, G4 is an issue, but if I were to strife the city in G2 and use Veil on G1 into G2, 1 damage the city, And then Slave Rebellion on the city turns it into a town. Well, rather works, but then gets a town in there instead. But then I have Violent Windstorms to push the town out. The problem with that is I'm not strifing both G3 and G4. I mean, G3's like, that's gonna blight, because even after I strife the town, Slave Rebellion is gonna put 2 explorers in there that aren't strifed. If I were to not strife that town, it wouldn't be Slave Rebellion did, but this town still turns into an explorer. And also a Dahan. Like it's it's creating 2 things. But 3 Dahan, 1 dies in the ravage, but there'll still be 2, and they kill the town and explorer in there. I think that's better, honestly. As it makes G2 less of a problem. Strife that city. And Veil in there. 1 damage to the city, 1 damage to an explorer. Kill the other explorers. Slave Rebellion G4. Stop D3. I guess the downside is that D3, or there's no town on D other than D3. Not that that does anything, but I'm gonna be striping that town. But there's no way I could really do that effectively, right? Because the only Dahan is D2 or G4, and I want G4 to be there. Okay. I don't think I need this range, do I? This town turns into Explorer, builds a town. I could do Violent Windstorms in G4, push the town Explorer into G2, deals 2 damage in G2. Kills a town, replaces it with an Explorer. There's still Explorer. There is still places for that, so I think that's okay. So here, that's for sure. That was forced. During the next normal ravage, each city does +2 damage. On each board, add disease, ignore disease. Oh, it's good I got rid of all those explorers then, because they're gonna filter. Fear per land with invaders for Dahan outnumber cities. Okay. Not one. That one. Terra level 2, vector condition, there are no lands where buildings outnumber Dahan. Each player chooses a different land with Dahan, 1 damage per Dahan there. Tempting to do it in these 2 spots, right? We could stop the Blight in G3 now, though. And they are building G2, which means that would be a city, so we do want to do G2 so they don't build the city then. Still gets replaced with an Explorer, though. We could stop the build in G4 entirely. But we have a solution for G4 anyway. Next fear card, in each land with buildings, destroy 1 Explorer per town and 2 Explorers per city. Okay, well, that did some things, I guess. Oh, I guess because it's a coastal build that they're asking this, which it's not a city though, so I don't know why it's... I guess it still thinks D3 is a city. Oh yeah, because I could allow the build. No, I'm not. Okay, mountains. They do not explore D8. Escalation time. Go there, go there. Okay. So instead of pushing G4 into G2, I could push G1 into G2. Which is interesting. I can push G2 into G1. Doesn't actually stop the G1 build though, so that's not like meaningful. It kills 2 towns though. G2 into G1, the towns have minus health, so they both die. They get replaced with explorers in G2. But there would be 3 explorers G1, 2 explorers G2. But I could then kill the remaining explorers with this. As far as the victory condition is concerned, though, like G8, G1, D5 exist. G8's obviously the most problematic land. We could just try to win. Instead of dealing with the explorers and invaders and builds, let's just win. But that would require 5 Dahan and G8 as it currently stands. Sunbright is reclaiming next turn though, and I could put a sacred site in G8 with stone and sand. So if I did Tempest in G8, that kills 3 towns. And then and this is diseased already, so I would just need to put 2 Dahan in G8. There's no neighboring Dahan though, but I do have Call to Migrate, so I can get Dahan there very easily. Call to Migrate is slow though, and they're building D5, and D5 looks pretty bad. But if I were to play my same powers this turn, I could do Gift of Sunlight, Air. Maybe not. Sorry, not these powers. I'm thinking of these powers here. Gift of Windsped Steps plus Scatter the Winds again to get rid of everything in D5. Pushes into each of the neighboring lands, but none of those are mountains. Wetlands is one of them, but I don't have to push in there. There is the escalation, I guess, but if they do coastal, then it's very easy. And technically, these 2 wetlands, they are blighting, but the Dahan survive and kill the towns pending the event. I'm gonna do this. I guess that was not the right order, was it? No, it's not the right order. The other direction made more sense. Did it? Oh, I guess, yeah, G2, but then I killed those 2 guys. Okay. It's still a G1 build if that happens. But it's probably not a big deal. Let's take Minor. This has Sun. These 2 have Air. Steam Vents kills the guy in G1. Steam Vents! However, I'm already playing the cards that I'm playing, I think. What about over here? We can get to 4 cards. The plan was this, right? Does it make sense to play 4 cards? If if Sunbright has an energy to kill the guy in G1, that stops the G1 build, which means there's less lands that I have to deal with. Although Migrate was something I wanted to do. Drought. I think this does win if they don't escalate though. I'm doing 4. If I play these cards, yeah, it's crazy, but I do 4 damage, range 1 from a Sacred Site. But we're stopping this build. We're stopping this build. G8's not building, but we're also killing a lot of stuff in there. The city could also die with this power. But this choice almost doesn't matter then. As long as I have energy, which I might not. So I don't have energy, but if they do build G1, I can call to Migrate to kill the town. It's not a big deal. Drought to kill the town. Sacrifice my presence. D3 is a town that still exists. D5 is a town that still exists. That town could go into D2 though, and that is already outnumbered. Let's try it. I could kill the city. Ooh. Ooh. There's no reset damage over here, by the way. Wait. Oh, I can't kill the city because I have to damage 5 invaders. Okay. That's why reset damage doesn't exist, because you could just click on the thing. Interesting. That's a weird UI thing. I have to add extra explorers. Oh god, I have to add 4 explorers, or 3 explorers. That's kind of awkward. Should have thought about this, I guess. It's fine. They're not doing anything there. Right? They're not doing anything there? Plus 3 damage when ravaging and lands with presence. Beasts destroy explorers. Spirits with enough Dahan may use a slow power now. And that is only stone and sand? Oh, because of G2. Okay. I do have a presence in G2. Probably don't want to lose my presence in G2, maybe. But there's no way I can stop that. Unless I waste this over there, which I don't want to do because I wanted to kill the city in G8. I could kill the city. But then a town goes into one of those 2 lands and it doesn't die in a ravage. I could save the Dahan in G2. I can gather them in the G8 to kill the city that way. I don't have range to D3. Like from either spirit. So I guess the solution to D3 was to call to Migrate, wasn't it? So I guess what I do then is gather this way. Save those Dahan. And put them there. That's interesting. If I don't if I don't use the same 3 Dahan, I can do the damage in both lands. So 3 Dahan in here, 3 Dahan in here. As long as it's not the same Dahan, I can do the damage. Wow, that's interesting. Makes sense. Each player removes an explored town from a land with beasts, disease, or at least 2 Dahan. Wish it would be those lands. It's not. Doesn't stop G2 at all. That's the only blight now, though. It's pretty good. This is the only fear card as well. Probably just remove towns. So that if they do explore jungle, I can just click D2. Stands, though. Well, I can put the town there, and it's still outnumbered. You're level 2, there are no lands where buildings outnumber Dahan. The question is, does it count as outnumbering if they're equal? Let's find out. Still have Call to Migrate. Why do I have Call to Migrate? We already used it. We already used it. This is already used. What? I will just report this. This is not the... This is the public build, so this is... Seems like a bug, so I have to send it this way. Which a lot of people don't understand how this works, and they say it's bad UI. Whoop. Really, once you know how to use it, it's not bad. It might not be intuitive, but it's not bad. So I just have to kill the town in D1 and the city in G8. They will be replaced, but the replacements are going to go in lands with... Well, I guess the Explorer doesn't matter, but the town, its replacement goes in a different spot. This is 1 health. I guess it doesn't matter how I kill it, either this way or the other way. Wait. It didn't kill it? Oh, because I hit G6, I guess. Oops. Because it asked which do I want to gather from, that which doesn't make sense. Go there. Kill that guy. Go there. Yay, we win! So D7 was not outnumbered. Equal means not outnumbered. Excellent. Well, this game ended a bit faster than I was expecting, because I was gonna say the condition for Steam Key this week is what is the last stage 2 card, but we won too fast. Whoops. But the nice thing is we got 88 points. 10 for victory, 60 for difficulty 12, 12 for the 6 invader cards, 8 for the 17 surviving Dahan, -2 for the 5 blight. We didn't blight the island, and this was an easy victory. Therefore, difficulty 12 is very easy. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Dahan Insurrection is... Oh, it's difficulty 4. I thought it was 3. It's difficulty 4. To be fair, it is notably easier for spirits with versatile Dahan movement, which we kind of had. Yeah, Dahan were definitely more versatile in this game. If you didn't have the Dahan movement, you couldn't really take advantage of constant raiding, but you still had to deal with military response. So buildings being more resilient, plus the fact that you had to set up lands with towns not outnumbering Dahan, is definitely difficult. All right, well, that was kind of faster than expected, so I'm gonna do a new game. And the condition for getting the Steam key, well, there's not really anyone chatting in chat, but there certainly are people in chat, right? There's people there are definitely people there. I see people there. So if you want a Steam key for Horizons of Spirit Island, please say something to the effect of, I want a Steam key for Horizons of Spirit Island. Say I. I'm gonna do Blitz. It's not an easy scenario. It's difficulty 0, but it's not like it's easier, it's just different. And it is notably harder for slow developing spirits such as serpents slumbering beneath the island, as well as if it's paired with Brandenburg Prussia. So here's Brandenburg Prussia. And yeah, I'm gonna hit stage 2. We're gonna see the 2 stage 1 cards right away. And the 3rd card is not known. So the condition is, what is that stage 3? What is that stage 1 card? Only 2 choices though. But yeah, Serpent and Brandenburg Prussia to make this game hard. What's another slow developing spirit though? I guess we should probably do a Horizon Spirit for good measure. We did Stone and Sand and Whirlwind, so let's take one of these 3. I wouldn't say they're slow developing though. You could argue this one's slow developing because it's only 1 presence per turn, but I didn't find that to really be the case. I guess this is the only growth that gives a power card. Isn't Teeth also a snake worm thing? Alright, I guess we can go with the theme of snake worm thing. It looks more like a dinosaur to me. But depends on, I guess, how you look at it. I guess let's see. What is the description of the spirit? Long ago, the being which would become devouring teeth lurk underfoot was a small, territorial spirit of the sand by water. It waited patiently for small prey to approach, then frightened them towards its waiting maw. When fresh prey was scarce, it would scavenge. Most such spirits stay tiny, but this one happened to take a bite out of ember-eyed behemoth. It slowly grew larger and more mobile, slithering below the land's surface in a way impossible for normal animals. So I guess it's kind of a snake worm thing. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. Serpent plus worm. Go. They explore the wetlands. And they also add an extra explorer. I have a thought for this. Actually, it's not a good thought, is it? I am defending 3. Okay, no, it will be a good thought. Okay. What about this one? Do you have defend? You have defend. Yeah, you have defend. It pushes Dahan now. So it's probably gonna go there then. Unless I can somehow deal with that guy. Okay, I guess might as well read the scenario and stuff. Brandenburg Prussia, escalation on each board with buildings, add a town to the land without towns. During setup, add a town to land number 3, and when making the invader deck, put one of the stage 3 cards between stage 1 and stage 2. But with Blitz, all powers are fast, Powers which were already fast or made fast cost 1 less energy. For innate powers and power cards costing 0, instead gain 1 energy. Do we have that here? No. When exploring once per board, add an additional explorer. If the island becomes blighted, put 1 less blight per board on the blight card, but also put an additional blight per board on the blight card. The invaders get an additional set of actions at the end of setup, so they'll explore and then build and explore. So this wetland build is going to immediately happen, and they're also going to ravage on the first turn. Which is why I'm thinking, hey, we can put that guy in C5, because I will defend it. So it's kind of awkward because they get an additional set of actions, but we also don't get an additional, like, setup. So we're not getting an extra presence. We're only playing 1 card this turn. At least Serpent is only playing 1 card this turn. Escalation, or not escalation, thingy. Excuse me. So like Serpent is going to be using Elemental Aegis to defend 2 into C5. Probably also C8, so we're going to put the presence in C7 or C6. Probably also gaining a power card. As you can notice, all of these cards are cheaper than normal because they were already fast. And cards that are already fast cost 1 less energy. So energy is not really a concern in this game. So it's definitely going to be gain power card and add a presence. And you could argue it could be a major power because we could probably afford it. But let's take a minor. It's not going to be played if I play Absorb Essence, but if it's a defend card, I could maybe decide to do it. Roaring Teeth will be doing 2 card plays for sure. Also, the innate is fast, which, if you do Aegis, does get you Serpent Rouses, but it will only be like 1 damage, so it's not the best. Unless we can combo it with, you know, target spirit may deal +3 damage with their powers, in which case it could be very exciting. I could do the 4 damage in C5 and they don't have to defend it. But I could also do it in C7 and that stops the build, and that's pretty good. So that seems helpful. So that's solved, that's defended. I want to get the Teeth presence into D3 to defend that. I don't have to though, because I noticed that I can only place the presence at range 1 if I take a power card. Otherwise I'm gaining energy, but I don't necessarily need the energy. I'm playing Gift of Furious Might, so I could like also play Ferocious Rampage. This power was also going to be fast, but not with the energy discount. Kills an explorer and a town at range 0. Like I could use that to stop the D1 Ravage by just going in there and killing the things. In which case I don't need the defend card at all. Excuse me. I keep yawning. Nap time for me. Is there anyone that wants a Steam code, by the way? Because we haven't had anyone voice to that effect. Even if you own the game, you could actually give the code to one of your friends to have them get the game. So, something to think about. Anyway. The way that I've kind of been told to think about this is sun, air, animal are the 3 elements that Serpent doesn't care about. So sun, air, animal. So like Gift of Living Energy is like the least bad, as it gives me 2 elements that I do care about. You didn't say anything since you already have Horizons, but you know someone who doesn't. Huzzah! In which case you can gift it. So if you are interested, Treyel, then it is yours unless someone else steps forward, in which case we will have a competition. Not too likely to care about Gift of Living Energy though. It does refund an energy, but like until I get to this part of the game, like energy is absolutely not a concern. We could take Scour the Land. Could use that to kill C3, I suppose. Stop the city build there. It requires a sacred site, though. Could take Veil. Oh, I can't actually do that. Never mind, because I'm already playing Aegis, right? So none of these matter, right? This is only for next turn. So what do I care about next turn? Not a whole lot. I guess Scour to eventually kill C8 without having to be in C8. It does require a sacred site. I guess I have to be worried about that. I don't know. I'm clicking that one. Did we decide we're gonna defend D3? Otherwise we gain a power card, in which case maybe I should have thought about the power card first. I can gather a presence, maybe deal damage in the land. I have to play the right elements for that. So if I'm doing Gift of Furious Might, let me double check and see how this works. One damage for each fire. Earth, I do have those. Oh, but those only damage buildings. So it doesn't actually stop the C7 build if I have plus damage. Because it only modifies like the damage. Like it basically like the 1 damage to 1 building becomes 4 damage to 1 building, which is actually kind of bad. Feels like a waste to grow into D3 just to defend it when it's not really doing anything. I mean, it blights, but the reason we have additional blight on the front side is because we're more likely to blight on turn 1 here. So, grow into D8, Ferocious Rampage to kill the 2 explorers there, or let them build and do it next turn. Stop the build in D5 by hurting. I don't know. I'm gonna click this. I want to see different powers. This is a power. This is a power? How about we make Serpent grow quickly? Let's grow through sacrifice and make a serpent that's cray-cray. So to that end, what do I want to do? Plus damage still? I could just do it next turn. They'll build the city, but I can kill the city and the town with that power as the result. No, I can't. What am I talking about? Or damage does not kill a city and a town. I'm still thinking they have minus health, but maybe I still do it so it's easier to defend or something. I could just stop, like I don't have to defend D1, just gather the town out, and then they don't do enough damage. I don't know if I will not hit the fire. I guess I'm not worried about that this turn. Do I need Sacred Site? I guess I'm placing a presence that I'm going to eat with. Thingy. Growth through sacrifice. Question is basically... Oh, I don't really want them to build in D5. I guess that's another thing to consider. I'm gonna go in D1, D7. That one. Gather the town. Not really a super effective turn, is it? But turn ones are never really super effective. Oh, but I didn't actually play the thing to kill the town in C7. Okay, let's do that then. I'm not playing that one. Which means D1 is ravaging. I'm gonna stay in D7. Add the blight. Or sorry, add the presence. Oh, it's not defended because of frickin'. Ooh. I was thinking I had an absorbed presence because I normally do by the time I absorb essence, or by the time I elemental aegis, but I don't because that makes sense. In which case I want a serpent rouses here so I don't die. How about that? Remember when I put that extra explorer there? We don't need to gather. Okay, only 2 blade. Also a million cities. Jungle. Add an extra explorer somewhere. Okay, that was only turn 1. Next, I would like to absorb essence, so I can place more presence down. And we have to think about C7. We don't have the card anymore. I will have an innate fire. I have to do this. I could make it major. Let's do minor one more time. Orb essence and something else. I think absorb essence plus rouse the trees does enough to kill all the cities and towns in C7. Seems nice. Do you want major? Okay, growth or sacrifice already. You're gonna be absorbed, which will give you energy and... Or do you get an energy? Yeah, gain an energy and 1 any. Let's just do one more turn with minor. Abandon D5, but it pushes the Dahan. Could do Ferocious Rampage in there. Let's see what the minor is. Purifying Flame. 1 damage per plate. Or instead remove the plate. Doesn't really do enough there. Sorry, enough there. That is. Elements. Fire. Earth. Animal. Fire. Earth. Animal. Air. That's not Earth. I guess we found Forgot Fodder. How about C3? C3 looks pretty bad. +2 range on Serpent's actually not bad. Build. We could do entrancing apparitions to stop a jungle build if we wanted, but we probably want elements, so I'm gonna click this one. We do have +1 damage per damage dealing power, so actually it will kill the guy at D5. Yeah, let's not forget that. Presence. We could grow into a land that's gonna blight to lose a presence that way. How about those marbles? I'm gonna grow. I'm not gonna have her claim 1 next turn. Otherwise, defending D4 would be nice. I could reclaim all to defend that. Sure. Absorb essence, rouse the trees. And then thingy. Purifying flame has to go before absorb essence. And if I play this one, I will have this one with an earth. I have to do this first. Oh, this is only range 0, but I can still do it there. I guess I can gather my presence to do damage in a way. In which case I could stop the D8 blight. Do it this way. This doesn't matter. Oh, but I need the earth still, right? So it does matter. So let's then absorb the essence. So you get the earth. And then I can damage this way. And then this way. Call. That. For some reason I thought it was killing this. I only have. Oh, I thought. Oh, because I thought this was 3 damage, but it's not. Because it's not. Teeth. That makes sense. Can still block the ravage, gain energy. On each board, add town to a land with explore town. On each board, add disease to the sands or mountains with the most buildings. Each spirit with 2 Dahan among all its lands gains +1 energy. Which is serpent, but not teeth. Town to a land with things. Not there. She there. This seems like a dangerous spot. But it's also centralized. Remove from a land where it is the only invader. Stops the build there. That guy's dying to ravage already. There's not too many places, so just those 2. Mountain jungles. So Aegis on the turn 1 from now is a pretty good idea, is what I'm hearing. I don't want this to be in a mountain. Or, sorry, a jungle. Go there. Go there. Okay. Jungle is ravaging and then building, and then the next turn ravages. So solving jungles is imperative. We could scour a land that's actually not bad. In And you're not playing 3 cards, we could have you play another power card or a random card based on what we want. But let's see, we're gonna gain majors probably. Energy plus reason for energy. Add presence. Add presence, you say? Super fast growing serpent. Defend one. Wait, whoops. Get me out of there. Defend 20. Thing is, I don't necessarily care about the sun. Tsunami? It's only 3 coastal mountain jungles, and at most 2 of them are hit by this. But it does clear out C3. You're also gaining major. Because why not? Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. Manifest Incarnation. Interesting. I like Vigor. I'm gonna take Vigor. And Fire, Earth, Animal. I'm gonna ditch Purifying Flame. Not hitting the threshold on this, but it's gonna do something, right? Something somewhere. Surely. Presence. This is range 0, defend 9, but I'm not actually in a spot that will matter. Basically gonna play our hand unless I decide to play this over Gift of Flowing Power or something. I guess actually, if I do take Gift of Flowing Power, problem is like, there's not really good places for it. But I guess if I do it in C... I can't hit C5. I can only really hit D2 with this. Or D5. But D5 is kind of a bad spot. You haven't any... You can almost hit the threshold on Tsunami, but you're just off. Is the annoying thing. Look like that one. And I'm gonna ditch that one. I don't know if that's good or bad. I really don't. It's kind of hard to tell at this point. I guess Water Earth is pretty good for placing extra presence as well, but we're gonna defend a land instead. So let's grow this in a land where I can eat stuff. Can't put it in C3 because it's bladed. I could put it in a land that blades, and then I don't have to worry too much about having to absorb essence fast. But there are the land we can use to stop a Ravage in a build, and we're doing that probably in C4. So let's go in D5 then. Scour claim. I'm only dealing 1 damage with this, but I do have any. Oh, I placed water, but I'm gonna claim to get the any anyway, so it's fine. And I was gonna play Gift of Flowing Power, but now I'm not. So do I want to play something else here? I do have the Gatherer. I could defend D6. In which case, nothing helps with D2 other than Vigor, which does kill the city. It's not bad. It's not the worst. Did I kill a town? I was gonna scour there, wasn't I? Or scour here. Oh man. No, I don't need to scour as much. That's awkward. Then I could do Gift of Flowing Power then? I guess. I could do Gift of the Primordial Deeps instead. Okay, so where does that put us then? If you were to play this, what would that do? Anything? Stops the build in D5. Could have you gain a fire, in which case you can deal 2 damage in the land that you gather into. Do this, then the any's gonna be earth instead, so we still have the same damage. Could do Gift of Primordial Deeps and maybe you find a fire card. Very likely. I think that's a bit better. And then I proceeded to not find a fire card. Excellent. Well, that sucks. I could instead get a moon and an earth, but that also doesn't do anything. Add Dahan to D2. Don't have range, but I could put the presence in D5, but that's... That means I'm not defending D5, in which place I should have played Scour. Isn't this awkward? I guess I could let D5 blight, although then they build a city, but kind of do the original plan of let that blight and destroy the presence, but then I still can't really solve it that effectively. And this defend card's wasted. I don't have to play this power. Save it for next turn. Not sure how effective it will be next turn. Guess I could remove the blight in C3. Oh, actually it hits the threshold on this. Okay, does that change things? It does. Vigor here stops the build, push that Dahan. And now that solves that Ravage. Okay, that's a lot better. So gather that, defend there, remove that blight, claim there, gain fire, destroy the town. Okay, that's not bad. After advancing invader cards, perform a build step for one terrain not shown under any invader action, so it's actually not too bad because we have a stage 3 card. Beast deal 2 damage, add Dahan to a mountains or sands with Dahan. Not bad. Oh, that was the town. Thought I damaged an explorer. I can kill the town. Kill the town. Why not? The answer is it removes the beasts. That's why not. But having a land without beasts is fine, because an event card could add the beasts. Each player may push an explorer into a land with more buildings than the land it came from. So we could use that to stop this entirely. That ravage is solved. That ravage is solved. Sorry, the build is also solved. This build is also solved. Only 2 builds. Exploring mountains. So let's put this in the spot where it doesn't matter. That one. We're doing a, what, build? Ravage? What was the thing? Perform a build step for one terrain not shown. So it's either gonna be sands or wetlands. Neither of which are that good. Sands has 2 diseases at least. So I guess it's gonna be sands. Okay. Now to deal with the dual ravage. Okay, we're gonna reclaim 1. I guess it's going to be absorb essence unless I can somehow justify not absorbing the essence. I can't place 2 presents, so reclaiming Indomitable Claim doesn't seem too wise. Reclaim here is fine, probably. Can still play 3 cards. Gain a new major? Gain a new major. Unlock the gates! I'm just gonna click it because I like it. Let's ditch this one and place the presents where? Are we gonna scour a land? We could scour D8 and lose one of your presences, but we could also absorb that presence first. And that solves the ravage and the build. So I want the sacred site in D6. I'm not playing Unlock the Gates if I do that, but it's not a priority. I have an any. Worry about that later. Reclaim. Make a sacred site. You're losing the presence in D8, so it's gonna be there. Absorb. Or sorry, not absorb, but this. It's not really a good idea because absorbing is only gonna have you place 1 more presence. Defending D6 again might be a good idea. Unless I can deal with it. It's possible. I have 3 card plays. I'm also getting absorbed. So, can I somehow play 3 cards that have fire and animal on them? No. Can I play vigor effectively? Probably not. Can hit the threshold. Play these 3 cards again. Basically exact same kind of idea. If I get absorbed, I get the fire to deal damage. Gather a presence, deal damage. 2 damage, actually. Doesn't do enough for C3. I could do Vigor D7 to D8. And then I don't need Scour for D8. In which case I could take Unlock the Gates. Unlock the Gates, play it on myself. If I gain an... Oh, I can't do that. I can play Growth Through Sacrifice as a fire plus animal card if I have a covered animal on my presence. I'm looking down here for the 5 animal threshold is why I'm saying can I play all the fire animal cards. Because the thing is, I want to hit this with the extra element off of Absorb Essence. And if I played 3 cards that have fire and animal on them and somehow have enough earth after that as well, then Absorb Essence gives me an animal and that does it. But yeah, if I Absorb Essence, I guess... Oh, but I'm not placing a presence off Absorb Essence, that's right. And if I go through Sacrifice to place an extra presence off myself, I can gain the fire, but not the animal, so... I mean, I could try to let the D6 Ravage happen. Get Teeth Presence into C3, defend C3. Absorb the second presence, and then the Ravage blights the land, but then that also destroys a Serpent presence, which is good because it makes it easier to place presence. Bigger D7, D8 was the thought to solve D8. D6 blights, C3's defended. Cycles is kind of sad. It's just being literally played for elephants. I guess I could absorb to gain a sun instead. And instead play something that's more beneficial. I could play a fire card to then be able to do what I want. This could be fine. We're doing 2 damage with Serpent Rouses. Even without the any, plus 3 damage would kill all the buildings in D5. D6 rather. Still blights, but it gets us fear. Okay. I need the sun. Guess that's still blighting. I can't see what I'm targeting, so I have to do it this way. Actually, now I could do it. I could do it with this in order to make sure I hit the town. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is defended. Unlock the gates on myself. I'm clicking that one. Need energy. And do stuff. I haven't clicked the element yet. I don't think it matters. Because I already killed everything in there. Extra damage won't do anything. So we save it for the fear card. Fear card is aided by fire. At each land with secret sites do things. We have 5 fire. And we have 2 sacred sites and both have invaders in them. I want 1 more fire. I click fire. This is now done. Okay, beasts generate fear if invaders are present or moves to an adjacent land. Well, you can go there. Skip the next build. Not bad. So now it's a double mountains build. And no ravage next turn. Full beans. Yeah, Arns are level 2. That does actually work. That one. That one. I don't know. They're not ravaging. Absorb essence. Notice that Teeth only has 1 presence on the board. So this is not the turn for growth through sacrifice is what that means. Actually, I could grow myself. That would be kind of amusing. You could play your hand with Gift of Flowing Power. Clicking this. I'm gonna click minor. I need to grow cards. I want more cards. That is fine by me. Good elements. Damage is cool. Range 0 sacred site. So that's my sacred site now. I'm not playing it for the defend. I'm playing it for the elements. Okay. Need to absorb. We're definitely not hitting 3 plants. Gain a minor. Still not 3 plants. Constancy might allow me to not have to reclaim. I don't know. Colodan ways. Still only really playing 2 cards. until next turn, then we're playing 4 cards. I think this one's actually fine. Steam vents. Hello, fishy. Serpent has 8 presents on the board. Teeth has 2, which is going to become 1. Seems funny. I really want to figure out how to solve C3, so I'm going to go in there and we'll figure it out. Damage isn't really good. Does this do anything? Cycle Time and Tide still doesn't do anything. Man, this is annoying. This is 4 damage. This is 2 damage to the building. This has to go here. 3 damage to explore towns only. I really want to stop this build from happening. So I'm like spending all this effort. But now if I do this, does it work? Okay, it does. Not bad. Move 2 invaders. I wonder if I should have like done that in like C3 instead somehow. I don't think it works. I could do damage to that building. I could do damage to this building or this building. I mean, I placed my presence here. Maybe I should have placed it here. Let's place it there. I can destroy the town. And an earth lets me kill the city. How about that? That feels like it's better. Oh, but I'm not absorbing essence. I didn't reclaim absorb essence. And I'm not playing absorb essence. That was what I needed to do. If I take an earth, I can place an extra presence down. And you can actually hit this threshold. Oh. Oh. Try that. Oh, but you're not. What am I talking about? You're not hitting that. Unless I don't play that. Hold on. Play this one? Then I don't have the animal. Crap! Oh, well, no. I'm done. I'm getting the fire from the presence, and I'm gaining the animal off absorb essence. Okay. Bam. 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 Still don't know what I'm doing, but I can It's only 2 damage now. Rude. It's not really doing what I want it to do. I can remove everything from there. Does that do anything? I have millions of damage here. That seemed helpful. Slowly making sense. This power is not doing anything. But I grew into C2, but I killed everything in C2. With Twisted Flowers, so I didn't have to do that. Okay. No. Okay, that did something. Invaders do +3 damage when ravaging and lands with presence. Guess what? They're not ravaging. Beasts destroy explorers. Add a beast to board with that one. Spirits with 3 Dahan among all its lands may use a slow power now. We have no powers left. Lands with Dahan have defend 1 plus defend 1 per Dahan. No ravage. Each player moves 2 explorers or a town from a land with Dahan. 2 explorers or a town from a land with Dahan. That stops 2 builds. Exploring the jungles. Okay, so C1 and D2 are already solved. I'm playing 3 cards this turn. Gain major. Interesting. Instruments, right? And then this power sucks. Okay. Range 1 presence. I would like a sacred site for this, so it's gonna be there. Play my hand. Alright. You are gonna absorb essence again. Reclaim absorb essence. And gain a major. And play your hand. Place 2 presents at range 1. You're playing 5 and also reclaiming 1, actually. Very interesting. Can we unlock the gates? I want to unlock the gates. Defend 1 and damage 2 per Dahan. Blah, blah, blah. Or Jungle Hungies. Probably will have the threshold on that when all is done. I'm sure we're gonna have the threshold on that one when all is done, right? Jungle Hungers. Jungle Hungy. Unfortunately, turns out I don't actually get unlocked the gates. So that's slightly unfortunate, but still want to play that for elements. Oh, plant. And now we can gain a major power without forgetting. Yes. All of these things are great. Okay. Absorb this guy. Gain animal. You're still capped on presence after all that. It's kind of silly. Probably I could just scour a land to get my presence back. Scoured C7. Sure. Yeah, this game's kind of over. If you haven't noticed, like, my decisions don't matter. Well, they sort of matter, but they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm in all the jungles. I don't know if D1 is solved. Let's go with D1. You just keep marching up that. Might get the animal next turn, might get 4 card plays next turn, who knows? Grow in a land where you could do things, I guess. Like that one. You're gaining this without forgetting. Now we want you in sands, is that what you're saying? Blazing renewal? I have destroyed presence. Also this. This is a lot better. Okay. Where does that put me? I have no idea. You're a capped on presence, so we're not gonna grow through sacrifice on you. We do have the threshold on it for blight removal. Could remove that blight if I wanted. Let's do instruments in there. Gather my presence. And then now I can grow through sacrifice in that land. Don't need that presence right now. Do that to do that. I don't need the animal yet though. It's not gonna do anything. Oh, also Cycles of Time Inside was gonna go there, I guess, to remove that plate. Oh well, let's add a Dahan there. Okay, that was my turn. By my, I mean, that was gonna be a jungle hunger spot, I guess. Well, there, I have a presence back. I can place a presence next turn, yay! Browse and Anger. We're 1 fear card away from no cities. We won! Not a hard game. Definitely had some fun dicking around. It's sometimes fun to dick around. Only like 43 points though, compared with the 89 from last game or whatever it was. 10 for victory, 20 for the 4 difficulty, 10 for the 5 remaining invader cards, 5 for the 11 surviving Dahan, -2 for the 5 blight. And, well, we didn't get to play the Steam Key game, but it seems like Trail was the only one who had a use for the Steam Key. So, if there's no one opposed, I'm gonna just hand it to Trail. I'm going to send a whisper their way. It is sent. They should have it and can do with it as they will. Since they already have Horizons, they can gift it to a friend of their own. But that is it for this week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Be sure to check out the other streams they have on this channel. Handelabra Live is on Wednesday this week at 7 p.m. So check it out. They'll do the next Sentinels of Earth Prime variant unlock and might demo content from One Deck Galaxy or keep playing Horizons to celebrate its release. Thursday at 7 p.m. is Dolphin's Dive with yours truly. We'll either play more Spirit Island or we'll do some One Deck Galaxy things, or well, it is actually the first week of the month, so I guess it is the monthly Oblivion match. That's what we can look forward to this week. Friday at 4 p.m. is Luck of the Seamus with Seamus the Hug Monster. And then Sunday is again Spirit Island Sundays with myself and maybe Seamus. Handelabra products include Sentinels of the Multiverse, Sentinels of Earth Prime, Bottom of the Ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Anne's End, Spirit Island, and Horizons of Spirit Island, all available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices. One Deck Dungeon is also available on Switch. And One Deck Galaxy is in active development. Follow us at twitch.tv/Handelabra Games for the live streams, or follow us at Handelabra on YouTube for the VODs. Follow me at twitch.tv/LogicDolphin if you would like to watch my personal streams. But until next time, have a good one, guys.